All right, hello everybody.
B-boy here.
Timmy
Tim.
the Hazy Wolf, the Purple Haze. All right, so we made this video before, like when it first happened, but it didn't save because YouTube likes
is a bitch.
Yeah, YouTube is a bitch, and they like to censor and get rid of shit that they don't agree with, and we didn't get a chance to upload it. It would have been the perfect video.
I know.
And we're not gonna sound as emotional because now that we know all the facts, we know what happened, we know that he's been buried, and the memorial at the Staples Center, what happened to his family afterwards, what they inherited, how the stars reacted, like LeBron, of course, and plus
Speaking of LeBron,
hang on, no.
we got shoes on.
Yeah, we do, but that's a different.
LBJ shoes on.
Yeah, that's a different time. We're doing this.
I'm just saying.
This is about Kobe.
I know.
I get what you're saying. The point is this isn't about the Purple Haze. This isn't about me or him or fucking getting views for the video. I don't really give a shit if you watch it or not. This is just me and him expressing, as fans of the man, our sadness and, you know, coming to cope with it. We're not going to mention the coronavirus or the NBA shutting down. None of that shit is relevant. We don't really care.
Yeah.
Because the man's dead. It doesn't matter anymore. But we're going to mention how we knew him, how we came to learn about the sadness, and you know, how we moved past it and everything in between. So this is the last time we're gonna mention, hey, you know, we're the Purple Haze, because we're not the Purple Haze in this video. We're just Brandon and Tim expressing our sorrow and gratitude for the man that we never met. And of course, before you mention in the comments, ooh, you never knew him, why would you be sad? It's not about knowing the guy. I've known about him most of my life.
Facts.
Once you learn certain names like The Rock or someone you become a huge fan of, just because you don't know them fucking personally doesn't mean that their death can't affect you, or that their lessons in life and what they teach or what they're trying to teach can't help you. I think that's a bullshit thing to make fun of. Like Paul Walker, I love the dude. His movies were awesome. He was a good dad, and he died, and I was sad, so you can fuck off.
Pretty much.
So I'm gonna let him start. So let's getting into this
all right,
special.
First off, I want to say happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone out there.
Oh, one more thing.
What's up?
Last time we're gonna mention Purple Haze, I promise.
Yeah.
This is the Purple Haze send off to Kobe Bryant. So let's get into it.
Black Mamba. All right. So the first time I learned about Kobe was I was playing basketball with one of my friends, and while I was shooting hoops, he was watching a video of the NBA highlights, and he was like, "Yo, that dunk from Kobe." And I was like, "All right, I gotta see what this nigga's watching, because he keeps saying Kobe, and I want to know who this guy is. He sounds cool." So I was watching a video about him, the video that my friend was showing me, and I was like, "Yo, this dude is dope." And ever since then, I was a big Kobe fan. After that, he inspired me to do a lot of great things with my life. He inspired me to never give up on my dreams, to always move forward no matter how hard life gets, and always have a positive energy and a positive mindset. And when I used to play basketball, anytime I would make a shot, I would always say Kobe. And I think that most people, when they want to understand and know about Kobe's life, I think they should really take into consideration of how good of a person he was, and forget all that bullshit of, you know, oh, he was falsely accused of raping a woman. No, she just wanted his money. That was it. He didn't do no such thing. Look it up. And, you know, ever since I started learning about him, I used to have a really good 24 jersey of Kobe, but, you know, that got ruined, and I was very upset because Kobe was a big idol to me, and he still is till this day. And to pass on Kobe's life, I think we all should really appreciate the times that we were thinking about him and the times that when we said his name, when we were about to shoot a free throw or, just playing basketball and just always having him on your mind and everything. It's just surreal to me because of the fact that, he's actually gone. And I didn't think that day would never happen. He was always a big flyer. He didn't, personally to me, he didn't believe in like driving to tournaments or anything. He always wanted to fly. And for me, when that day happened, the whole helicopter crash and everything, it was just lost for words that happened, because a part of me feels like, why was the pilot agreeing to flying that day? Hold on.
Bro, we said we would get into that later. It's just stories about him now.
I was telling about that.
I know, but I didn't get to talk about my stories yet. We said we would each talk about the stories and then we'd get into that.
I was about to pass it over to you. And there's really not much that you can say that's already been said about Kobe, other than he was an amazing athlete and he was a very, very genuine person to his family, to his friends, and to the whole Lakers team. And the only thing I have to say is rest in peace to the Black Mamba, rest in peace to Kobe, and rest in peace to his family. I hope they're doing good and everything. Hope they're staying humble. And why don't you talk?
I didn't learn about Kobe until I actually got into basketball, because I didn't grow up with basketball. I grew up with baseball. I didn't learn about Kobe until I was 13 or 14, so about 2009, 2010, because I knew about the Yankees and Alex Rodriguez. It was all baseball. But once I learned about basketball, I started learning about Michael Jordan. I always knew the name Jordan because of the shoes, not really the player. So when I first started learning about basketball in, the late 2000s, I always heard the name Kobe because it was a shot. That's what I was looking for earlier. I don't know. I think you might be on it.
Diddle's right here.
I mean, sitting on it.
This is my pen. How do we lose that shit already?
To me, Kobe had like a similar mindset to us. He grew up as a loner. He grew up different. He moved around a lot, from Philly to Italy. People weren't kind to him. He was only the black dude there. He had to fit in, and he had a hard time for it. That's why he became like a loner, and me and him can relate to that because we didn't fit in well and we became loners. So I can relate to that. I remember he grew up watching people like Magic and Bird and eventually Jordan. He wanted to be like them because he saw in himself what he could be. He was always passionate. He was always hardworking. He's always more intense than anybody else because he wanted to be the lone wolf and he wanted to prove that he could be good just as anybody else. I remember watching a bunch of documentaries and a bunch of
definitely
a bunch of stories about him, how everybody loved him, how he could prove them wrong without Shaq. I personally believe if him and Shaq didn't argue and let their egos get together, I feel like they could have done more. I feel like they could have been more. But it was on both of them. And with the Colorado thing, like before that, Kobe was marketable. You know, he had the afro. He was following in Jordan's footsteps. Everybody loved him. He was the caramel cat. He was the lovely guy. You know, he's a 3-time champion. He had so many ads. He had a lovely wife. And then, thanks to how the court system is today and the feminist
He had
movement,
a beautiful daughter as well.
We'll get into that. And the feminist...
Well, you mentioned his wife. So.
This was before his daughter.
Okay.
This was 3 years before any of his kids.
Mm.
And, you know, life was going good for him. But then, because it's so easy for a girl to accuse a guy today, oh, I was raped. Even if that guy doesn't know her, people are still going to believe the girl.
Yeah.
And it's not that I'm against real rape victims. It's just we have a presumption of innocence in this country. It's not only our imperative, it's my moral obligation to question you if you're right or wrong. Because I don't want to ruin a man's life. And she almost did. Kobe almost went to jail, but it was thrown out of court. And don't get me wrong, like some cases where they're thrown out of the court.
Falsely accused.
He was. And she only wanted his money, obviously. And she had other DNA in her underpants from other dudes, so she was a whore. And I don't care if you sleep
Straight to the point.
And I'm not saying like just because a court is thrown out that person isn't guilty, because I've seen some cases like the Casey Anthony thing. She obviously killed her daughter, and she's an evil bitch.
Yeah.
But people felt bad for her. She was a young mom. So that's not the point. What I'm trying to say is that it was obviously false. And that ruined his image. And it ruined his relationship with Shaq and pretty much everybody else. That's why he became even more intense, even more alone. That's where the Black Mamba came. He's like, if I'm going to go to prison, I can't control that. But I can control basketball. And I think that's where like he became who we know today, the intense dude, where he would fight against everybody, where everybody hated him instead of loved him. And I think that's what made him an even better basketball than what it is. Like, I know LeBron gets flack, but I don't think LeBron's hate has ever been anywhere near what Kobe's was. They called him ball hog, you know, hated his teammates. I don't think he hated anybody. I just think he wanted to push them to make them better. Like, it worked with Pau Gasol, it worked with Lamar Odom, Derek Fisher. If you could actually prove yourself to him, you know, he would be there for you. You know, he would be your best bud. And I can respect that, because if you're just like a fun guy like Shaq, you know, I like that, but you're going to get lazy, you're going to get fat, and you're going to get happy. And that's what happened to Shaq. That's why his career crumbled in his last few years, when I think he could have lasted longer.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. He definitely could have lasted longer.
And Kobe, he set a lot of records. He was with one franchise. I wish we had the old documentary, because I feel like we said a lot more words.
I know.
Like, I'm at a loss for words. I don't know what to say. Like, we all know the stories of Kobe. We all know his losses. We all know his championships, what he could have done better, what should have been done better. His fight with Shaq, the feud, how it ended, and they eventually became close. We know how he was mentoring young women in the WNBA. We know his daughter Gina. We knew she was talented. We know he started his own academy. Like, we know he got his own Oscar for his basketball short. We know he was a best-selling author. Like, I don't know what I can say that everybody else hasn't said on YouTube or exploits for money or fame. Like, I feel like there's nothing that we can say that you don't already know. Like, we probably seem like we're just calipoting on that and just mentioning what everybody else says, and to get views. Like, it makes...
That's why I said there's no words that can be said that has already been said.
I mean, I feel like we can mention the GOAT argument in this a little bit. I personally feel like, I know LeBron has the better resume, let's be honest. He has more champions, more MVPs.
Definitely, yeah.
I don't think he was a better player than Kobe. Obviously, he had the better career. But I still think Kobe was
Kobe.
I still think Kobe was the better player.
Yeah.
And if I was to choose a player over LeBron besides Jordan, because to me, Jordan has the best resume out there. I think he's the best all-around basketball player there's ever been.
I mean, dude, it's MJ.
Exactly. So LeBron may be the better, like, all-around player because he's taller.
Yeah.
But he's not the better defender, and he's not the better scorer.
No.
I would choose Kobe. You know, you didn't go to the gym to say LeBron, Jordan, Steph. It was
Kobe.
And I feel like if he didn't have that injury and he had better teammates, I feel like he could have done even more. I feel like he was robbed from a couple MVPs in a couple seasons from... he should have won one when Steve Nash won those two. Shaq and him should have won both those MVPs.
Yeah.
Shaq in 05 and Kobe in 06 when he averaged 35 points. Like, I've never seen such a man who just wanted it so bad. Like, I've never seen a player go through so much pain and so many injuries just to end up falling short. And I think that's the most disappointing thing. Especially the 2013 season, which I think is Kobe's most underrated season. He played 43 minutes a game, played 78 games, and then against the Warriors, we obviously know he did his Achilles because nobody was showing up, and he had to do it all himself. He didn't have Phil Jackson that year. He had Mike D'Antoni, which in Phoenix, you know, the famous 7-second offense. And that dude sucked at coaching, Kobe. Let's be honest.
Hands
he was
down.
putting Powell on the bench, and he was he fucked up with Dwight too. They could have done more, but they fucked Kobe on that one. I feel like in his last couple seasons, he just wanted it, and his body wanted, you know, fucking give up, but it gave in. And I think that's the problem with Kobe. I feel like his work ethic and his moral mindset worked against him. Let's be honest. Michael Jordan was more willing to work with what he had than Kobe was. Kobe's lone wolf attitude, I feel like, affected him, especially in his last years. He's like, oh, I'll do it myself. And he thought his body would last, and obviously it didn't. You didn't see that with Jordan, because Jordan, like LeBron, used the pieces around him, except with LeBron, he wanted his own pieces, not with what he was given. So he acts like his own coach. Jordan didn't do that. But then again, Jordan, for a lot of his career, had Phil Jackson. And in his last couple of years, Kobe didn't have that. And the Lakers just kind of fucked him with young people. Another thing, obviously, the accident. I was the one that told Brandon about that. I remember that day because I got a ticket from a cop. I was on my way to SUNY Oswego. It was January 26th, about 2 or 3 p.m. I just got finished at the Y. I was on my way to school, and my dad called me. He's like, yo. And I'm like, what up, old man? He's like, Kobe died. And I'm like, what? Nah, you're fucking with me. Get the fuck out of here. And then he's like, no, Kobe actually died in a helicopter crash. I'm like, nah, you're bugging.
That's what I told him when he told me. I was like, nah, bro, you.
I was wearing
stop capping.
I was wearing a Lakers jersey, and when my dad told me that, I looked it up myself. Even when I was driving, I'm like, I gotta fucking see this. And you know, it turned out he died like 2 hours earlier in a helicopter crash. And at first it said like all 4 of his children, and I'm like, bro. When I got there, it was like 4 p.m. I'm like, yo, I gotta fucking tell Brandon this. So I call up my buddy, you know, I sent him a message. I'm like, dude, you're like, what up, bro? And I'm like, Kobe's dead. And you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Get the fuck out of here. And I'm like, no.
And like it threw me out because like I just hopped out of the shower.
I'm like, no, he's dead.
I got that text, and I was like, bro, you're bugging. Like Kobe's not dead. And then you said, bro, look it up. And then I told my mom to go on ESPN, and it was showing that he died. And I just sat on my stairs going upstairs to my room, and I just sat there just crying.
You know, to add insult to injury, when I walked into SUNY Oswego, I was like one of the only people there because everybody left. I heard to get my books, and as I walked in, you know, since I was wearing the Lakers shit, the dude, you know, helping me with books, he's like, oh, so you're a Laker fan? And I'm like, yeah, I love the Lakers. And he's like, you know, Kobe's dead, right? And I'm like, yeah, I heard, obviously. And he's like, yeah, sorry to tell you, man. And I'm like, you're not the one that told me, but it's whatever. It was a shock. The first couple of days, like, remember how you were emotional and I wasn't? I want to accept it. I'm like, I couldn't, because remember Dom 2K and all these YouTubers, Mike Kozemba? Because for like the last 4 or 5 years that I've been watching them, you know, ever since I got into like basketball,
b-ball and everything.
Yeah, like I would watch Dom 2K and Mike Kozemba, shout out guys. I would watch them. They would make these Kobe videos, they make the Jordan videos, the Larry Bird videos. And, like, they would always talk about him in present tense, like his career in past tense, but him in present tense, like he's still alive. And, when I watched those videos, they always cheered me up, and, you know, I always learned something new about someone I liked and looked up to. And I never thought I would look at those videos again a month later and be like, wow, this is in past tense, both career and life. And that hits you differently. And, like, I didn't, like, cry. I shed a few tears, but like it took me about a week or two to finally like admit he was dead. He's never coming back. I'll never be able to meet him. I'll never be able to talk him. I'll never be able to see his daughter in a WNBA game. I'll never be able to see him maybe have a son to carry on his legacy. I'll never be able to see any of that. And me and him tried to get his shoes. We were at a shop a month before he died, and we're like, bro, we can pick up Kobe's. But then we're like, we'll have time for that. And exactly a month later, we were at the outlet mall in Seneca Falls. And the store sold out.
Sold out.
The stores sold out. Everything was gone. Nationwide, like his jerseys, his memorabilia. And I remember watching the memorial at Staples Center, and I remember seeing Michael Jordan cry and Shaq.
That just tore my heart.
And I remember Michael Jordan saying, now you have another crying meme about Jordan.
Yeah.
I remember them telling stories, and it's like, you know, he's not dead. Everybody was saying, you know, he was their Michael Jordan, and it puts it into perspective that nobody's invincible. Like, I thought the dude would live forever. I know we, you know, say that about family members or like our parents, but
nobody.
I mean, like,
forever, though.
I mean, but our parents aren't NBA legends. Like, we thought like not just his character, but his career would live forever. You know, he was moving on to business, and then he's gone, just like that, because they decided to fly. I don't even blame Kobe for this, because it wasn't his helicopter, and he doesn't.
I blame the pilot.
I do, and it probably wasn't all on the pilot.
I mean, it also was a.
It was the weather
day too.
Apparently, it was really foggy. Like, I didn't look into the main details. I didn't want to. I saw like the crash photos, and it was not disturbing because they didn't show any bodies, but just seeing it hits you differently. You're like, that can be any of us at any time, and it just shows you it doesn't matter how much wealth you have, how well known you are, how loved you are. You will die when death wants you to. And it makes me feel like I never want to fly. I don't like flying in general, but to me that just solidified like, hey, you know, I don't want to leave the U.S. anyways. I'll drive to where I can, and that'll be it. Like, we can drive to Canada, but I wouldn't ever want to go to Mexico or any other country. It'd be cool to see them, but I don't care to. And it just makes me realize that we can go just as fast too. Like, we love making these videos for you, and just like that, all we will have is these videos for you guys, and you'll be like, wonder whatever happened to those guys. The channel was growing, and then they just stopped making videos. Like, you guys would never know. And just like he can die anytime, or I can, and it wouldn't be the same, you know. He's someone I probably talk to every fucking day. I consider him my brother. And, you know, it's like, I wouldn't know what to do if he died or if I died for him. It's like, you know, you don't like think I'm dead yet. You keep on hitting me up, and you're like, why isn't he answering? And, you know, you see it maybe on Facebook or hear from my dad, and it's like, he's dead, not dead. He'll answer the next day or the next day. And then it's like, who am I going to hang out with now? Who am I going to tell my fears or my sorrows? Who's supposed to be the best man at my wedding? Who's supposed to see my children grow up and our children be friends and grandchildren? And just, what next? You know, he'll never see his children grow up. He'll never see his grandchildren grow up. He'll never see his daughter get married. He'll never carry on his legacy outside of basketball. Because I feel like he established himself outside of basketball. And obviously he was buried in the graveyard.
Definitely.
He was buried in the nicest grave next to his graveyard, like by his house. And you know, I never used to like...
He was buried?
Yeah.
I thought he was cremated.
No, he was buried with his daughter February 7th in a private... I mean, anybody can go to the graveyard, but like in a private section where it's like gated off.
Okay.
So you can still see it, but you can't like go near the graves. And she made the graves blank, which I didn't agree with, but I think she did it to leave privacy. Because like, what can you put on a grave that isn't already said about him fucking daily?
Yeah. I think they could have put like a picture of him.
At least for the daughter.
At least for the daughter, yeah.
I remember seeing Vanessa talk, and, you know, for the longest time, I didn't like her because I remember seeing some articles where she says she only sleeps with champions and she's only staying with Kobe for the money, and that's the only reason why she liked him in the first place. And it's, for the longest time, I didn't like her. She seemed like a cocky bitch. But I changed my mind when Kobe died. Like, it's very rare to see a wife grieve that hard and say she would give up all the money just to have him back. It's rare to see a wife stay around for 20 years and not leave the celebrity and take half his fucking money and his kids. No, she wanted more kids near the end of his life. The dude was 41 and he just had a daughter. It's like, you don't rarely see that. Now she's still crying and still posting photos of him, and I don't know if I'll see her in another relationship. Like, if I was in her position, she's only 37, but she's been with him for 20 years. I don't know if I could ever love somebody again. I think for the love part, I'd be content. And it kind of helps that he left her $600 million fucking dollars. I'm just saying that helps. I wouldn't ever have to love again because I don't know if I could.
Mm-hmm.
This is a side note. I'm sorry I'm bringing this up, but like whenever I hear stories of like, you know, a spouse dying after years of being with someone, and the spouse moves on after like a year, or like remarries a couple years down the line. I don't know how they could do that, because it's like, that was your life partner first. And I'm not judging, I'm just saying for me, I don't think I would be able to do that. It bothers me when I read that, and I don't know why. So I changed my mind about her. She seems loving, like a loving mother and wife. And I'm sorry I had those thoughts in the first place. And Kobe, to me, proved that he was just more than just like a legend or a great basketball player.
He was a person.
He proved that he was just a person at the end of the day. Like, he won an Oscar. He was a best-selling author. He was helping others. He was tutoring others to carry on what he can no longer do on the court. He can no longer defend himself. He carries that on by helping others to spread his message. So in a way, he, although buried and gone and never to be seen again, is still around in his children, because that's like a second life for him, his genes. What they do is a representation of him, not like fully because he's no longer here, but I mean like in spirit, just like we do for our parents, even if you like them or not. I just wish they never flew that day. I don't understand why, because I wouldn't have flown on a fucking foggy day, and I find it hard to believe that Kobe was totally in the dark either. But
I mean, he did agree with the pilot, and so...
Well, we don't know that either, because it could have been sunny where they were and they didn't expect it. We don't know.
Yeah.
One thing you mentioned last video that I think we should mention this video, you didn't mention, I wonder what it was like in his final moments to realize that, like, his daughter is terrified, like, she's probably, like, either clutching onto him or... I mean, probably not, because when they were going to crash, they were going 184 miles an hour, like, sideways into a mountain, so probably not. But
I couldn't even imagine.
Like, as a father, like, you're supposed to be her protector. You're supposed to, and they had a special relationship. Not that I'm saying he didn't love his other kids, but when I looked at those two, it's kind of clear who his favorite was.
Yeah.
Not that I'm saying he didn't love his daughters equally, but it's kind of clear who was his sunshine.
Oh, yeah.
And the way she looked at him, like, whenever I saw, like, old basketball... Remember his final game, where, like, when she looked at him at the end, where, like, it was full of love. Like, it's very rare to see, like, a child have that for their parents, like, at a young age, instead of, like, later on when they're more mature. They had a special relationship, and I wonder what it was like for him to realize that in his final moments, there's nothing he could do to save her, help her, be her protector. There's no amount of money or skill that he has to save her. And I wonder what it was like for her to know that her dad can't help her. Like, they can't be saved. Like, he can't pay to fix this. He can't shoot to help her. Like, he can't do anything. And I wonder what it was like for them to accept that they were near death. Like, were they in shock? Were they like, is this really it? Like, my mind, if I was in their position, it would be it would be blank, and I'd be petrified. And that's a fucking terrible way to die. Fucking terrible.
Pretty much.
And you know what's funny? I heard this joke a couple days ago, and it wasn't really a joke. They were just kind of putting it out in like a funny fashion. And I didn't really even view it as disrespectful, because maybe they're right. Why is it that after Kobe dies, a great person, despite what some liberal media say he was a rapist, he can eat my dick. We'll mention that afterwards, because I just remembered that. But why is it that after he dies, the coronavirus suddenly comes? You notice that? What if he was the one saving us from the virus? I know it's stupid to mention in the death video, but I just pointed out, like, why is it after he dies that this thing suddenly comes? What if he was the one protecting us from it? Just as, like, a funny little joke.
That's funny.
I'm just saying. And, you know, I was not surprised. Oh, we should mention, like, the reactions. Like, when he died, I wasn't surprised at how many people broke down or were sad, you know, especially the legends who faced him.
It was Kobe.
Exactly. The only legend I can imagine having a bigger reaction would obviously be Michael Jordan.
MJ, yeah.
But I think that motherfucker's gonna live forever. The dude's 57 and he looks like he's 40.
Doesn't?
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Big down.
But LeBron James, I remember seeing him break down after he got off his helicopter and he's just hugging random people. I remember seeing news reporters, fucking Shaq, who probably has some regrets. I would too. Just everybody, even people who didn't necessarily like Kobe, just were surprised that a rival or someone they faced was dead. They're like, nah, that motherfucker will come out of the grave next week and still say fuck Boston.
Yeah, right.
And he never did.
Nope.
I never returned home. He's gone. I don't believe the story that him and his daughter went to a church or were religious that morning before they left. I'm like, I don't believe that. I think that was just some religious people being like, ooh, we can make him look better and we can make ourselves look better. Because I never once heard Kobe say he was religious or mention it.
Mm-mm.
Obviously, we're not religious, so we mentioned that. I'm just saying I thought it was a bullshit story.
Oh, yeah.
One thing that I should mention that pissed me off, and I couldn't handle it. I was on Twitter and Facebook for days, lighting up people, blocking people, like, angrily liking their shit or just getting rid of them, who were calling him rapist, calling him a scumbag, calling him a piece of shit, calling him pretty much a pedophile for raising daughters when he was accused of rape, even though there was no evidence found.
Yeah, lies.
Exactly. And I know he was on Twitter too. Like, I just couldn't handle people spreading that bullshit because people are easily manipulated into believing that. And I couldn't handle it because I felt like it was an insult to every Kobe fan. And I felt it was an insult to Kobe because he didn't deserve that. He was a great father. He was a great human being.
And I saw a lot of comments saying, because there's a, you know, like, there's a lot of,
he was a great human,
you know, like Kobe hate fans and everything. And one comment I saw that really fucking fucking pissed me off was the fact
saying he deserved to die.
This nigga said
I couldn't handle
This nigga said, "Oh, the black mamba's dead. Oh well, who gives a fuck? He was terrible on the court, and he was a terrible human being."
No, he wasn't.
Lost my
he was a humanitarian.
Shit, I lost it.
I got angry.
I was beyond pissed.
Usually, I don't care for celebrity deaths because a lot of them are assholes and overrated. But Kobe, he embraced the hate. That's what I loved. Like, he didn't shy away from it. He knew it wasn't true. So why try to deny something that you know is true when others will have your support?
24.
And I just couldn't handle it. I know, like, everybody has a free opinion, but you have all these articles that wouldn't dare be published when he was still alive.
Oh, yeah.
But you have to attack a man when he's dead and can't defend himself? Like, what kind of fucking scumbags are you? And you'll try to
sell yourselves.
You'll try to sell the story. Like, I remember that Gail King reporter who asked that WNBA player, "Oh, did you think Kobe was a rapist?" Remember that? Mm-hmm. And like Snoop Dogg was like, "I'll beat your fucking ass." Like, remember?
Snoop Dogg was pissed.
So was 50 Cent.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg later, I think, apologized just to avoid drama, but Snoop Dogg and some other like hardcore rappers are like, "Nah, you can suck my dick. Fuck you." And she did it to sell a story. She wasn't apologetic. She only apologized because the media told her to. And you had these feminist fucking liberal actresses being like, "Oh, it's possible to mourn him as a sports star," which he was, but he was also a rapist. Remember that? And they all had to shut down their Twitter accounts and make everything private because people were coming after them for their bullshit. Like, there's certain people you cannot attack at certain times, no matter who the fuck you are. It doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat or political. Like, they will come after you. Like, people don't accept Kobe hate because it's not true. If Kobe actually did rape someone, we would admit it. We'd be like, "Hey, we were a fan of him as a sports star. We didn't like him as a person for what he did." But you can separate the career from the person.
Oh, yeah.
But Kobe didn't do it, and there's no proof to it. And that's why people reacted strongly, because they don't want false information to be spread.
They want real information.
Because that just affects his family and his daughters. Like, no daughter wants to read that their father was a potential rapist. What the fuck is that? That's bullshit. I don't want his, like, 3-year-old daughter or his 1-year-old daughter to grow up and be like, "So you're saying my father was a famous athlete, one of the greatest, but he was a rapist?" What? You know, I don't want them to get the wrong idea. People are impressionable and fucking dumb, and they'll believe it. So I spent 5 days before I just quit because there was a lot of hate. But most of it was love, and that hate didn't last too long, I can tell you that much. And, the WNBA star was like, Kobe was always nice. He was always kind. She knew him for 20 years. He never, ever went to the club or ever tried to come on to her. Like, he was always a gentleman. And I always liked that. I just refuse to accept lies. Like, we're logical. We don't do that emotion bullshit. We can get emotional about things, but we'll try to see the logic in it. And there was no logic in calling him a rapist or saying he deserved to die or that his daughters deserved to live without him. I don't see any nuance to that. That's not objective. That's just bullshit. You know what did bother me, though? I think LeBron did it for own personal reasons, but I didn't see him at the memorial. He did say he was in the audience, but he just wanted the privacy because he didn't want to take away from, Kobe's, the spotlight. But I'm like, on one hand, I like LeBron as a human, and I'm coming to like him as a basketball player. You know what I mean? Like, moving on from the hate. But did that seem a little egotistical to you?
Yeah, definitely.
I didn't know how to take that comment. Because to me, that just seemed a little egotistical. It's like, really? Michael Jordan's there and Shaq's there, and they didn't take away from the spotlight, but somehow you will. Bro, you're not the greatest of all time. Just get the fuck over it.
Yeah, facts. And like I said, there's not really much you can say about Kobe that's already been said.
I think,
except for just.
Did you see his daughter's basketball highlights?
I did.
She shot just like him, like she did the jersey biting thing. Like, it was like watching a mini Kobe, and
facts.
He was proud of her, and I was actually wondering how far she would go, and I think she would have made it. I mean, if your father's Kobe Bryant, you'd probably have a career spotlight. Just like Obama.
She definitely would have made it into the NBA.
Listen, just like if your father's Obama, you're probably going to make it into Harvard just on that alone. Oh, your father's a former president? Yeah, we can handle that.
Facts. Rest in peace to the Black Mamba, man. That's all I can tell you.
It's just
surreal.
Yeah, because, like, you know, we can accept it now. Obviously, he's dead, and, you know, it's like, say, like, the R. Kelly thing to the Bill Cosby. I don't know if Bill Cosby really did it, though.
Fuck R. Kelly.
R. Kelly did it because they have proof, but Bill Cosby, like, the stories are, like, 40 years old. It's like, I don't know if he really did it. If he did, fuck him. If he didn't, well, he just got accused and put away for nothing.
Pretty much.
And, you know, it's not like his family's ever going to be starving. He left them with money, house, cars. Like, he took care of his family. He's going to get them an education. Like, did you hear the story of, like, before he died, like, this girl was, his friend was talking to him about getting his daughter a scholarship. And after he died, they did the right thing and gave the girl a scholarship because Kobe wanted her to.
Yeah.
See, even in his last moments, he was still trying to help people. And I remember when he was on the helicopter, he was actually talking to Shaq's son. We forgot to bring that up. One of the last messages was he asked if Shaq's son was okay. Like, he was always checking on others. He wasn't full of himself like people seem to think. On the court, obviously he was, because you have to be if you want to be a legend.
Oh, come on. Please don't.
No, we're good. But yeah, we're good. But anyways, you have to be if you want to be a legend. That's the point. So, I mean, I don't even know what else we can really say, man. Like, we tried to get Kobe's, and we did find some the other day, but the one thing I didn't like about Kobe's shoes is
they're really flat.
They were flat and they were elfish. Like, I couldn't do it. Like, he was skinny and, like, his feet were perfect for that, but not for us. We got some nice-ass rare LeBrons. But, you know, before they shut down the NBA, I was hoping they would win the championship for Kobe. And now I don't even know what's happening, honestly.
Holy skate.
Oh, no shit. I thought it was like some old dude. Hey! But anyways.
Oh shit, they actually have the electric longboards.
That shit's cool.
Man, I've always wanted one.
My brother had one.
Electric longboard?
No, just a longboard.
Word. My friend accidentally gave away my longboard.
Cocksucker.
I was pissed.
But anyways, this is about the time that we ended the other video, because what else can we say? You guys already know everything, and you already know what happened, and you already know the stories. It's reported every day. It's repeated every day, and I ain't got nothing else to say besides Rip Kobe. You are my second favorite basketball player besides Michael Jordan. Nobody beats Michael Jordan in my eyes. It was Michael Jordan, Kobe, and Wilt to me.
Yep.
And, you know what Wilt Chamberlain is, right?
Mm-hmm.
He holds, like, a lot of the records, 100 points. And Kobe's 81-point game. Like, he had memorable performances, and he'll be remembered as a good human, a good father. And I don't think in time the rape accusations will have any merit. I think they will fade. Because he more than proved himself as a good human. So
I think we should send it off.
This is Purplehaze's final salute
to Kobe
Bryant, and everybody who was a fan to him. And Purplehaze out.
Purplehaze out.
And remember, if you can't respect Kobe or the Purplehaze, fuck off.
Fuck off.
That's all I can say. Like, usually we line it differently. If you can't respect us, respect the Purplehaze, but it's the same thing. If you can't respect greatness, fuck you. Pretty much. But anyways, thanks for listening, guys.
I'm out.
It means a lot.
Let's bounce.
Peace.